And welcome to another episode of 94 by 50 podcast brought to you by yours truly, Ilya Kurbanov. And today we have a special episode joined by Montreal's very own Joel Anthony, a two-time NBA champion, a local legend for many kids growing up, attending a bunch of Trevor Williams camps and, giving the clinics, the autographs and the pictures and the memories for many. But without further ado, I'll let Joel himself talk about himself because I think it is always better to hear from himself. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man.
Your mic is cutting off again for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, is it?
Oh, now it's
Yeah.
not. I was just like, there's weird sound coming through, but I think it's fine now. Maybe it's
Oh,
my end.
okay.
I don't even know. Okay. Well, how you doing? How's everything?
Good, good. Just trying to, deal with this, living through the pandemic like everyone else. So trying to figure things out, try to stay safe and stay busy at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on your new placement with the Hamilton Honey Badgers. Yeah, I heard you
Thank
are
you.
the player consulate there now. Um, CBL is a up and coming league for Canadian talent. Can you talk to us about what this league does for those who don't really know what it is?
Well, the league is very unique. It's a great opportunity, one for the players and really everyone involved. So the league takes place. What's different about it is that it takes place during the summer. So during the summertime, it is a league. Not, and I tell people all the time, it's not a summer league where you're just coming in and just playing a bunch of games. It's actual league. You have your team. You travel. We go to different cities and play just like a regular league, just condensed in the summertime. So with that, you're able to have players that are able to one of the biggest things is just get a lot of exposure. The summertime is obviously a time when there isn't much of that. Most people are apart from NBA summer league and some if you're able to play for your national team, those are the only real legit forms of basketball that people could players could play in if they're trying to actually go pro to get seen. So this league is great for that. To be able to uh, provide some organized competitive basketball that's like backed by FIBA and the quality of players has continued to grow. So just having that opportunity to be able to receive exposure for whatever you need, whether it's a new job, whether you're trying to prove that you're healthy again, guys, coming back from injuries, trying to get back. There's it just gives a lot of different options for players trying to play professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm currently in Halifax, and we have two players from Dalhousie Tigers who were participating in that last year with the Edmonton Stingers, who ended up winning. I think that would have been the inaugural season of the league, correct?
It was going into the well, it was a different obviously season with the bubbles because it was more of a tournament, but that was the second season of the league. So
Okay.
it's very new, and but like I said, it's still very exciting.
Absolutely. Now, there's a lot that happened throughout your career. You played starting high school, Selvin House, then going to Dawson Community Team, and then eventually you go into Pensacola in Florida. Talk to us about it, a little bit about yourself in terms of how you got to where you were, becoming that two-time NBA champion eventually.
Long journey, long journey. I played basketball in high school. Like a lot of guys played at Selwyn House and went to Emmanuel Christian School. Actually, I transferred. I finished my last 2 years of high school there, to be closer to home. Things started to change. I think once a little bit once I started to go. Once I made the switch to go to Dawson, I graduated and was going to Dawson, and that was the time I felt I really fell in love with the game. I was, basketball was really consumed me where, it's what I really enjoyed to do. Um, my focus might not have been as serious. It was more just, like most, young kids, like, I was just happy to do it. It was fun, and I was willing to play, wherever we go to the parks, play organized, play, get in games whenever you can. Uh, and but it started there, at Dawson, where like real love for the game started to come along. I played double A, 2 years of double A basketball over at Dawson, and then played half season of triple A. And um, pretty much after that last year, I kind of had to make a decision. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do academics, and I really felt there was a need for a change for me. So I was really fortunate. Um, after that last year of CEGEP, I had I got an opportunity to play with Sun Youth. So I had some friends that I had played with, just through the summer times. You get to know everyone, in the ball community. So I played with. Actually, I got a call from Denver. Everyone knows him as Berkey. Um, Denver agreed. So he called me up and was like, "Look, Sun Youth has an opening. They're looking for a big man. Everyone really wanted to, felt that I'd be a good fit. People around the city just kind of knew me as up and coming player, young kid, big guy that was able to both block shots, play good defense. So it was just a good fit, for the team. And around that time, I was really trying to work on my game and trying to get better. I tried lifting weights for the first time in my life. Like I was trying to do whatever I could to try and get better, and it showed that summer. Just had a really good summer. Like, well, we all had a great summer. That was one of the best summers I've had. It was just a lot of fun, and the exposure just really started to blow up from there. And I received that same summer received a scholarship offer to go to Pensacola Junior College, and opportunity to go to Florida. I took it. It was really just, it was almost a no brainer for me. Just I felt I needed a change, and so the opportunity to play in the States was something I really wanted to do. And it's it was definitely one of the best decisions I ever made. So made that decision to go to Pensacola. Played 2 years there. Was on the all conference team my second year, and from there on I was um, it's kind of tough to talk about now, but a coach who actually uh, he actually just recently passed away. Lou Hill was the one who recruited me to go to UNLV. It was a last minute recruit, so I was pretty much set to go to Nebraska. That was the school I was gonna end up committing to, and he came in last minute and came in and just told me, look, there's a great opportunity here for you to play right away. And I ended up going to a visit over there and got a chance to meet coach, Lon Kruger, and a bunch of the players on there, and it was just a great fit for me. And I went to UNLV, and from there, um, it was just really focused on trying to kind of get into the mode of I could be a professional, at this once I'm done. And that's really where my mindset was. We are just had a really had a tough, not really tough year as but it was a year of development, my first year there. And after that, we made the decision with my coaches that I would redshirt. So I was going to redshirt my going into my senior year, and play the following year, so I could just continue to develop, continue to get better. It was a tough decision because I really wanted to play, but at UNLV, it was I felt it was, the best opportunity to go pro, and we just, I ended up doing that. So my senior year came, and I, had, had a really good season. Our team played really well. We went to the Sweet 16. Great Cinderella story. I was Defensive Player of the Year, and it was, it was a lot of fun. And from there, just started to work towards being a pro after that. And I was fortunate. I was able to see some guys were able to see me from my games against really it was Colorado State was was really one of the games that kind of changed things because they were looking a lot of teams were looking at Jason Smith, who was a really good prospect then. And because of games that I play against him, they're like, well, who's like this kid over here? And that's what I was hearing. And so there was a little bit of interest from uh, some teams and some scouts. And as I started to go, so I started to take my time to go through my workouts, and I was able to get a couple workouts once the season was over. And that summer, as I was training, and Miami was one of the teams that brought me in and ended up having really good workouts. And uh, when the draft came and went, obviously didn't get drafted, but they're one of the teams that had called me right after and offered me a contract, a partial contract. So between them and Sacramento were the two teams that I had partial offers from, and went with Miami, and that was pretty much it. That's a quick quick rundown of kind of how things went.
Absolutely. Is it true that they used to just bring you to one side and work on your timing to get those blocks? Because every time I watch the highlights and all I see is someone go up and you go right after, and all you see is just ball hitting the anywhere but the rim.
Yeah, you know, blocking shots was my talent. Like that was my ability. That I've always been able to do that. I wasn't able to do much when I first started, but everyone knew like okay, like he could block shots. It was just something I was able to do. As you know, but whatever you do, you have to improve on it. And it's something that we definitely worked on a lot with, especially with our assistant coach there, Keith Askins. He was um, he was really just huge with working me. Like we worked every day. We have so many hours put together, and it was just to work on everything. And so that was one of the things, like in terms of blocking shots and getting my timing, improving my timing. It was good, but just being good isn't good enough in that league. And just trying to be the best player I can be. And so just working on my craft. And I was and so we did a lot of that stuff every day, just working on different situations, different angles, whatever I would end up seeing in the game is kind of what we ended up working on. So yeah, did a lot of that so that one I could be better at blocking shots, but also doing things like making sure I'd save the ball, instead of sending it into the stands. Obviously, possessions matter. How to avoid fouls and finding different angles. So there was a lot of work on that, and on other aspects of the game.
Absolutely. Talk to me through the two championships. You guys lose in 2011 to the Mavericks. Then you come back and win the two next titles. What was it like playing alongside great players like LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen, and there's the whole roster you can name?
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. Like you just um, when we talk about we're fortunate about being able to play this game and to play at the highest level, but to be able to play with some truly just uh, great players and like great guys too, but to have that type of level of basketball being played, it was a lot of fun to be a part of that. Our focus once. well, once that team was put together, it was obviously championship or bust. Like that was, how we're considered contenders, before we ever played a game. So it was it was a lot of it was a lot of work that we had to be extremely focused, in terms of what we were trying to do. So the team was very serious about our goals. Off the court, though, we're very, very loose. Very loose. The locker room was a lot of fun, and that's the type of things that you probably miss the most. Just all the jokes and the time you're able to spend together. The bus rides, the plane rides, different things like that. So it was really great. Having both sides of that on the court. The pressure to win was really really built a lot of guys on the team, and to have to go through those type of battles are is really um, it's you could see why veterans and guys who have won are looked at in a different regard, because it takes so much to go through that. To be able to go through that and get to the top of the mountain and finally win, it's tough. So losing to Dallas was crushing for us, but it doesn't obviously it didn't break us. And so to have to come back and go through one a long off season where you have to sit with the loss, which is pretty tough. Having a lockout season and having more time where you're just sitting with the loss and everyone's looking at you like, well, what happened? Like, what are you going to do next year? It's just you have that on the outside, and on the inside you're just like you can't wait to get back on the court. Um, and then to be able to come together and figure everything out after having that loss, and to be able to come back and redeem ourselves with that championship, was amazing. For most of us, it was our first, and it was really one of the best feelings, to be able to win at that highest level, because like everything was worth it. Everything you had to sacrifice to be able to win. It was just like just like it's the greatest feeling, especially like right when it happens. Is just really one of those the type of energy that you feel is incredible. So being able to do that, and then to come back the following year and really really being challenged even more, because it doesn't get easier. To be challenged even more, to be able to do that again, what was once again like just really special. Just a great experience, a lot of fun. And like I said, it built a lot of us, just because you're really changed by having to go through that, and especially having to go through that with the players that we had, high IQ guys, ridiculously talented, with guys like Chris Brown, just and having also like the type of veterans that we had. Our bench was between like we had UD, Ray, Mike Miller, James Jones, really good guys that understood the game, and it was just it made everything a huge educational like experience as a ball player. Especially for me, trying to be around that, and you just kind of soak up everything like a sponge in terms of like the knowledge that's passed through.
Absolutely. And what was it like? What was the vibe in the locker room? Like you guys win that title, you guys get the Larry O'Brien, the MVP trophy, and everyone pops champagne bottles. What was it like?
And it was the first one that we won was probably the most like emotional, where you feel it. Like it started as that clock started to wind down. It's like five, four, three. You see, and once that happens, and that's when it like hits you. Like the confetti comes down, and everyone starts coming onto the court, and it's just there's all these feelings and emotions, and you're on the podium, and it just continues to build, and everyone's happy and hugging, and like it's just this great this it's nothing but happiness. There's nothing that you can really think about, except like that moment right there. And it slows down a bit, but once we get back into the locker room, we're all together again, and it's just you just kind of the same thing. We're popping bottles of champagne, we're spraying it all over, going through cases of it, and um, it's it's just the probably the most fun you can have, just because it's everyone that was a part of it. Everyone that was part of it was right there, and you're able to, and these are the people that know what you've gone through. Like these are the people that truly know. Like everyone on the outside, like we all have friends, family, trainers, on the outside that you may talk about and know, but no one really knows except for the people that are in that locker room and that really have to go through those battles. So to be able to do that with them, it makes it that much better. So just crazy energy. Like the vibe was just on a different level for with how we felt, and especially what we went through to having to get there.
Yeah, and another thing I was gonna say, who like in you played with a number of different teammates, great players. You played with Braun, with D Wade and Chris Bosh, but then you also played um, in San Antonio for a little bit. You were part of like with them, and there's a number of great players. Who was your favorite player to play with, and who was the funniest teammate you've had?
Favorite player? By favorite, you mean
Just
like
someone who I don't know, maybe impacted your game in a different way, like what I mean, made you a better player, or something you learned from,
yeah.
someone you
Uh,
learned from.
it's a time personally. Like vets, like the vets have definitely had like the biggest influence on no on most players. Like your vets usually have, well, you'd hope they would have like the biggest influence on you. And for me, that definitely how it was. Jamal McGlure was my vet. He came in my second year, and we were together for 3 years. And he had one of the biggest influences on me, because we obviously going through all the battles together on the court, but off the court he was probably the one that I was closest with. And just to be able to trying to make it in the league was is really tough. And a lot of times, even though you feel like it's just you out there, and having someone else that you could kind of relate to, and who's been through all those experiences. He's like been an all-star. He's playing in the league for so many years. He had I feel a huge impact on me. Like that's like I tell him all the time, like he's that's my big brother right there. um and and so there's that, and also on the other end there's also like really with on the court, in terms of like playing with the most, because obviously like Jamal and I played the same position. But I'd probably say Braun, just because his approach and understanding of the game was probably the most impressive that I've seen. Like his IQ is, regardless of like his talent, like his IQ and how he thinks about the game and how he really thinks about other things is um pretty impressive. And like you don't really know until you're actually around him. And so seeing that, along with like how talented he was, like seeing him like in like, truly like the prime of his career, um was probably one of the next, like that's they're both like 1A 1B for me. In terms of the impact that they had, just the amount that I learned having to play with them. And close to that would be like D Wade, like seeing him in his prime, and as a scoring like just monster. It was uh seeing that, seeing that other level, that other level of play was, probably, one of the biggest impacts, one of the biggest things that have impacted me, as a player.
Absolutely. And impacting players. It's funny how, you were a center, in position like a big man, and then you have a bunch of kids going to Trevor Williams camps. Like I remember this memory like vividly. I was like 16. I just moved to Canada and I met a few like, boys at the park that you constantly play with, around my house. And you would have a bunch of those kids who were like 12, 13, 14. They all went to Trevor's Williams, like to Trevor's camp every summer.
Yeah.
And I remember this dream. Two of the guys were running around with a piece of paper that had your autograph on it. Like that's how much you meant to the community, to the players in Montreal. Like even if you weren't the all-time leading scorer or whatever the case may be, you were in the league, and that's like everyone's like, oh, he's in the NBA. You were someone that people looked up to. Do you feel a little bit responsible for how Montreal's talent kept growing?
Oh, I don't know about like responsible for it. Looking back, I realize and like people have, talked about it, and it's nothing I don't really try to talk about as much. But looking back, I do understand the impact that I would have had, because I know for me, like, there weren't any players. You barely saw any Canadians, and you definitely didn't really see anyone from our city. Sam Dallenberg, was pretty much the only other player that I knew of. And actually, even getting to meet him was like cool, like having another Montrealer and having those different similarities. But um, coming into the league, it was for me, there was like Steve Nash, and like that was Steve Nash and like Jamal and Sam, like, and that was it. So it had been a while too since like another player had come into the league, so I understood a little bit of how it is this is something that wasn't common, but I never really thought about it, how it would affect everyone else. Um, but I was happy that I was able to, always, go back and, see the kids. And, Trev's camp was, I was obviously huge in the community. So, and Trev was really someone that, had big impact on me. Trevor was someone that I leaned on. Him, when you're with uh, like those guys are legends in our city in terms of basketball, and with what they've done in the community. And so to be able to be around them and to be able to learn from them, and when we were playing in the summer times and little tournaments and everything like that, they would talk to me. And when it came time for me to make a decision to go to the States, like, there were guys that, especially Trevor was someone that, I talked to about, like, what should I do? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you've been over there. So going to his camp and seeing the kids and seeing a bit of the impact, the kids, want to come swarm me and ask me all these questions and everything. And it was always fun for me to do. And I had no problem, I'd stay like the entire time until I answered like every kid's question, because there's so much that they wanted to know. And I would, see them, later on, and even years down the line, seeing them, they're like, I remember you at like Trevor's camp, and I asked you this. And the kids, like, I ended up seeing like some of them like online, because they asked for like my gamer tag, and I didn't realize all of a sudden I was playing video games at some point with like some of the kids. And seeing them older, and they're like, remember me? Like, I was. And like, these kids are like, this might be you know 5, 6, 7 years down the line. And I'm like, wow, like, these kids are grown then, but they remember these things, like, they remember these things. And so I've been happy that I've been able to, have an impact in terms of, kids seeing that, look, there's someone else from Montreal that is, that has been able to do it, that's been able to go there and make it. And like, you look now and you see how there's so many guys like, Ken Birch, Gans, Chris Boucher. Like, there's so many players. There's so many more players now that are playing. Like, we have three Montrealers, maybe four.
Three, I'm pretty sure it's three in the
Like,
league, and
I,
there's a
I don't
few in
even.
D1.
Yeah, but like just in terms of the league, like to have those guys there like now, like to have three of them like in the league like now, just from our city, like that's huge. And like those guys will understand that there's kids gonna be looking up to them and seeing that this is something that's possible. So I'm happy for my role in that, my role in terms of just moving forward, as like the game keeps going, players come in and out, and so like during my time playing, like I was able to like be there and have some time in the league that was able to impact some other kids.
And we talk about the Montreal players right now, and what do you think of the talent that we have in Division One basketball? We have Benedict Mathurin, who is with Arizona,
Yeah.
having phenomenal year in Pac-12. Perhaps will be the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Then you have Chris Duarte, who is at Oregon as well. And you have Quincy Guerrier, we have Oliver at Clemson. Like there's so many players that are from Montreal now than we had before. Like you said, um, how do you think that impacts the level of basketball of Canadian basketball moving forward?
Oh, huge impact. To be able to see it at the lower ranks, that you could see the success. It means so much more. As you get up, as you get up the ranks. Like when I came in, just I just kind of showed up like in the league, and then like no one really knew too much of my story. But to be able to come in, these guys that are coming in in Division 1 and having a huge impact now, like that's big, because kids can see it from then, and guys are able to have success like even in high school, like who like Ken Birch was a McDonald's All American, and so like to have that success when they're younger, I think is huge, because now they have those goals that they could start from there. It's not just like you start like, oh, like from I want to be in the NBA, and this is what I'm going to do. Like they could see kind of the steps now with the success that these other players have had. So I think it's great, to see guys like Ben and like all the other youngsters like being able to play well, extremely well at a high level in Division 1, and this is really how like how it should be, like in terms of the development of the game. And we want to be able to see our young talent to develop, and to be able to have an impact. And this is really the way it should go. And I love to see it.
And we almost forgot about Kareem Mane, who just jumped from Vanier to the NBA undrafted, but that's a huge step if you for anyone.
Yeah,
People start realizing, well, I can go to the NBA from CEGEP. Like I just
yeah.
gotta grind.
Yeah,
So
like that right there is something that should definitely be talked about, because that has never, I'm pretty sure, has never happened.
never been
No, no, no.
done. Never
I'm
been done.
not pretty sure. Like I know,
Yeah.
like that has never happened. Like no
It's
one's
never
gone
happened.
from CJ to sign a pro contract like that in the league. And he's someone I got a chance to talk to him once. And he's definitely willing to learn. Like he understands, um, you know kind of what he's getting into, and to be the type of focus that he's going to need, is you just wish him like obviously the best. And he's a talented kid that is definitely already doing, just for where he's what he's done already, has made his city proud. And so from like you say, like for a kid from CJ, like to go from Banye to go to the league like that is huge. And um and and taking just that step, because CJ, usually if you're looking to play really like high major basketball, Division 1, or if you want to get an opportunity to play play in the league, or really well professionally, CEBL wasn't really the route that guys would take. Like you'd want to go Division 1, play against the best competition, and that's really how you'd want to go. For someone to stay at home and to be to play CEBL, and from there to go pro like that is huge. And it may even set a bit of a precedence where you'll be able to have more kids like stay in the city and be able to because not everyone is able to to go to the States. And so maybe you'll have more players that'll be able to stay in the city and know that there are some opportunities to be able to go pro from there.
Absolutely. Well, then thank you so much for this opportunity talking with you. It's really, I've never met you before. Actually, I might have. I probably got an autograph from you back when they had an NBA event at the mall in West Island a few years back. I think it would have been like 2014. Harrison
Okay.
Barnes was there
Oh,
from the
okay.
Golden State Warriors that year. I don't know if it was 15 or 14, but yeah, I had a chance to get an autograph, but that was maybe it. But thank you very much for taking your time. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Michael Moody who made it possible,
Oh
obviously
yeah.
putting me in contact with you. But I
Yeah, my
really
guy.
appreciate your time and I appreciated chatting with you. Thank you once again.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Hopefully, everyone will get a chance to, learn a little bit more about, ball in the city, and, happy I was able to help.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once again.
All right. Thanks.
Have a wonderful day.
Uh,
Bye bye. And there you go. As you guys saw, heard from Joel Anthony himself, he told you anything you needed to know about Montreal basketball. He told you anything you could have known about maybe a few professional players that he had the chance and the opportunity to learn from himself, play and compete, and earning his two championships with the Miami Heat back in 2013 and 14. Sorry, 2012 and 13. Um, but this is nonetheless one of the best experiences I've had hosting this podcast, talking to a local talent who went from zero to possibly a hero to the city of Montreal. Growing up, a lot of kids, like I said and mentioned to Joel himself, that those two kids that I still remember, I'm not going to, talk names or anything, but I remember them running around with literally a piece of paper that had his autograph, and it was a game changer for many. And as Kevin Boakuma Sayers confirmed, stating facts in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for shouting out the podcast. I really appreciate the support. But nonetheless, thank you everyone who had the chance to tune in, watch this podcast. 94 by 50 is delivering Canadian content as much as we can and supporting our Canadian talent across, as they would say in Canada, coast to coast, but just across the country. But thank you. I'll continue to support the local and continue to provide as much as I can with Canadian talent. But for now, I'll say farewell. I'll see you guys on the next episode. I'll keep you guys posted. Make sure to follow my podcast on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. They're all the same names. 94 by 50 podcast brought to you by yours truly, Ilya Kurbanov. It is powered by OXB Media. Make sure to follow them as well and check out their content with a bunch of different podcasts. First and 10, Sixth Man, and Mike Roach podcast. There's many more content that is available about Canadian athletes, Canadian teams, and Canadian people who are involved in sports community around the country. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Remember to always work hard and never forget to keep it simple. Have a wonderful day, guys.